So, about tonight, right? Um, yeah, I'm gonna put a disclaimer here. Your regular scheduled host for the AEW Collision review unfortunately could not make it tonight. So therefore, your only regular host, Mikey, has decided to explore the pages of wish.com and has purchased the Fender Bender Friends because this review is about to crash and burn. But hello to all you Biconics wrestling nerds out there, and welcome to another episode of the Collision Collective review for AEW Collision that took place on Saturday, October 28th, 2023. As I mentioned before, I am your somewhat normal host on this review, Mikey. And joining me today for what seems like the first time in forever that we've had these two be on a review together, even God has been forever. Of course, crossing over from AEW Dynamite and Ring of Honor, we have JBL. Hello, my friend.
Mikey, you're making me work on a weekend. What the hell is this?
You could have said no. I'm just putting it out there. And then coming on over from the lands that is Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. I don't even know if that's what we're using anymore, but sure. Minnie, who is wearing this luchador mask. How are you?
I can't see anything.
That's okay for El Oxymorano. You don't need to see anything. It's all intuitive.
We love to see it.
I don't have the hat on. You can't call me that yet.
Sorry.
If you want to know why we're talking about that, that was a joke that happened off air. And will we explain it? Who knows? We'll see how this review goes.
But at least not the first 3 minutes.
Yes, at least in the first 3 minutes. So we here at the Fender Bender Friends, because this review is about to crash and burn because you have the three of us together. It's about to go down. But before we jump into the review proper, oh my gosh, it's already, I feel it in my bones. I thought this was a pretty entertaining collision. Of course, there were some things I have some questions about, but every week I always say, you know what, this was better than Dynamite. And obviously, the last 2 weeks of Rampage, I need to wash it out of my mouth and my eyeballs. I gotta bleach my, especially last Friday. Bleach my eyeballs with Rampage. That was bad.
I actually tuned into Rampage for the first time in a while because a certain wrestler was on it, and I was very upset that I did.
Yes.
Collision was my first time I've actually watched AEW since AEW was a thing.
That is very, very fair.
Well, you picked a good show to get on there with. I can tell you that from having reviewed AEW Dynamite for the last couple of months. So
I can tell.
I was not joking when I said that we were on the B show on Wednesday. So this is definitely the production wise, commentary wise, everything. This was the A show as far as I'm concerned.
Oh man, this is going to be an interesting review. So, without further ado, let's just jump into it. We opened up AEW Collision this week with a singles match where the Switchblade Jay White taking on a returning AR Fox.
Oh, I couldn't hear anything because my headphones went over my ears because I couldn't tell because of the mask. We're good.
This review is off the...
I can hear the normalness now. It's been 3 minutes. Fuck.
I am giving Minnie so much props for just sticking with this bit and doing it as hard as possible. Thank you for not negating your own premise. Like AEW didn't negate the premise that they were in Mohegan Sun Casino for this in Uncasville, which I've been to, and that arena is interesting. So seeing this all happen from there and all the weird stuff that happened, I'm not surprised. But you're right, Mikey. AR Fox was on our TV screens. Has he finally done his penance? Has he finally been accepted back into the AEW family? Doesn't look like it.
I mean, to be fair, they actually gave this match time, so I feel like he has earned some graces back, but he still lost here. But
it's a good match, though. It was a good way to start.
This was fun.
I had a good time with it. My problem with it was that Fox was selling like he had a concussion for half of it. And he's a really good actor because I believed he had actually fully knocked himself out. So that made me worry through half of it. I'm like, not another one,
this is weird watching Bullet Club Gold come out with the World Championship. You know how confused I was because like I said, it's my first time. I went, wait, I know enough to know that MJF has not lost the belt. Why is he off the belt, and why is there a cardboard cutout? This is dope.
You should watch Dynamite, then you'd understand.
I apparently should. And they did the review and package. I'm like, oh, that makes more sense now.
I would think you'd also be weirded out because Nigel McGuinness kept referring to Jay White as the actual champion, being the heel commentator.
Right.
He was like, no, he's really the champion.
I was sitting there like, I'm like, what in the hell is going? There's cardboard. This is awesome. I'm bought in.
Oh yes, card blade, switchboard.
Yep, that was dope.
He has seen some better days.
Oh my, he's flopping all over the place.
That's hilarious. He tried to get him into the ring and he couldn't, so he just threw him and he's like face down after the end of the match.
Exactly. We also had the referee Stefan Smith was having an issue being in the wrong place at the wrong time whenever things and shenanigans would go on. So he's actually in view of it all. And I will say this, having seen Stefan referee a lot of times in AEW, he has this problem where he's just constantly in the worst position at every point to allow the crappy stuff to happen.
I mean, it's a consistent problem. I was just like, I have no retort for that. You are absolutely right.
He's consistent. I don't know. I haven't seen this. But you're right. He was definitely in the wrong place, wrong time a lot of the times.
The submission where the Guns were pulling the rope away, he's looking straight at them, like, and he proved later on like he can throw people out, but I don't know. This was a good match from the two performers. They really took it up to each other. AR Fox flying all over the ring, bumping like hell for Jay White. Jay White could, like, I think he might have been selling again, but he just can't. He didn't get into the Blade Runner very easily, so it looked a little strange. I don't know. It just was an odd match for me. I wasn't against it. It just.
Looks like it's one of those matches they probably threw together like right before the event to get the pop for the hometown, but they still did because since they're both super talented performers. It just went really well.
Definitely.
Yeah. You know, I kind of agree. I feel like this match was kind of thrown together like either before we went on air or like a day before, because in the context of everything else that we got, this was kind of out of place for a lot of this.
Mm.
And, you know, after this match, so Jay White picks up the victory here. Everybody is clamoring at ringside because who is there but MJF, who has taken the title back, and then for some reason doesn't jump over the barricade and start running to the back. Like he goes over where Jay White can grab it from underneath the rope and then just bolts. I was just like, MJF, you had it in your hand. All you needed to do was jump the barricade and you were home free.
That could have also set up later in the night him bringing it down for the Omega match and them stealing it back. Like they're in the building. Like that's the easy way to do it. But no, wrestling logic sucks.
Yeah, wrestling logic is the greatest thing on the planet, I guess.
Speaking of wrestling logic, we go into the most logical backstage segment of the night, but not really. So as soon as the opener match ended, we cut backstage where we get listen. Had I not seen the same promo that happened on Rampage, I think I would have been less annoyed with this, but this pretty much was the same promo I got on Rampage. The only difference is they changed the number of days until they are 69 days as champion. I did appreciate the fact that Billy Gunn and Anthony Bowens are tired of Max Caster's like stalker-ish, like ex-boyfriend behavior, and they sent him to the corner. So that one was kind of funny. And this one was not for me, this one wasn't as annoying because Max Caster didn't go, I was just like, that haunted me on Friday. That really haunted me.
Because of how this promo ran down, I'm just going to go to the other thing I wanted to talk about because it was a nothing promo. Like I understood why they were doing it, but there's no reason for it. I hated throughout the night that commentary had to like sell against the chyrons and the little like graphics for the upcoming matches and the upcoming pay-per-view saying, oh, it really could be this other way. No, even though we're showing these upcoming matches, we have to say that it isn't because obviously why are we showcasing what it's really going to be? And you're not going to believe what the matches. You're literally not setting up any of your guys for success to make them fight against your own art department. It's just not a good look to have.
No. Biddy, what did you think of the Acclaim's 69 celebration coming soon?
As we all scissor through the camera. I thought it was funny. I have the sense of humor of a child, so I thought that was hilarious. I was just like, these guys are funny as hell. And he put them in the corner. Let's go. That was funny. I
Mhm.
might actually watch on Wednesday just to see what happens on their 69-day celebration. I've never heard of that, but I loved it.
Well, you'll have to watch it. Maybe you'll join us later for the review. That'll be fun.
I
That'd
will
be
try. I think
Oh my goodness. So as soon as this backstage segment ended, we weren't done with Bullet Club goals because they're all still in the ring because okay, so I got excited
Me
because
too.
Dalton
Me
Castle's
too.
I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's Dalton a wild Dalton Castle has appeared on Collision." And then I was like, "Oh wait, it's the boys." But still, we get to see these 3. It's great. And then I saw who they're facing. I'm like, "Oh, the boys are losing, aren't they? Yeah, they're going to lose." But
Well, and
I didn't
Dalton
care.
Castle didn't come down with him. He left. Like he
I was
didn't
like,
stay.
"No, Dalton Castle, no. You know it's the 4 on 2."
I did enjoy though the kind of like playing with the whole thing of like you don't need an entrance to the guns. They already did their entrance and they're in the next match. So just keep them down there and keep the crowd happy. And that's kind of a fun way to transition. It keeps the show continuity moving in a weird, fun way, other than having to like have entrance after entrance after entrance. You just continuously move it along. I enjoyed the match for what it was. It was going to be a quick squash no matter what. I've still been kind of went on these two boys, the Tates, just because of the interaction they had on ROH a couple of weeks back, where they were going extremely like Christian ideology and wording as they're coming down with Dalton Castle, and just it gave me that ick factor with them. So every time I watch them now, that's in the back of my head. But they took the pin, they got the crap kicked out of them. You know, they did their job. Good on you, boys.
why is there so many AEW tag teams that are just the something?
Because WWE doesn't like the word. I have
That
no
makes
clue. I have no clue. It's just easier. You
I
know, the
guess.
FTR,
The FTR, the boys, the guns,
the Danhausen hook.
Hookhausen.
Also, I need to ask this from the movements that were going on there. Did anyone else catch that Juice Robinson is going full Macho Man right now?
Oh
The hair, the
my.
movements, but like the way he threw him out, like just full on.
Yeah. Yup.
Uh, see, we're gonna talk about Juice Robinson towards the end, but I'm gonna talk about his wife because see, I saw a video of a fan that was in attendance to that when she was on the table. And we'll
Uh-huh.
talk about what went down because I was like, I don't know. I was like, Tony Storm is like they're both crazy.
Yeah, they're insane in the best
Like,
ways. They're trying to out crazy each other. It's hysterical.
speaking of trying to not necessarily out crazy, but outdo each other, we get a video package of Kenny and MJF talking about what this match means. They're hyping it up. This is actually a great video package.
Yeah.
If I did not already saw it on Rampage.
Yep. Yep. Or see the promo on Dynamite, which was the same thing. I guess they're assuming that like nobody watches their product from the other show, so they have to rehash it 3 or 4 times. It's very WWE.
Oh, yeah, very WWE. Very WWE.
Sorry, Minnie, we just woke up there.
No, I've been listening. I just can't see
Oh.
anything.
But you can hear now, right? Your headphones are on, right?
Yeah, I have to adjust them every once in a while because they slide.
Well, if we unmask you, then that just you're going to lose all of your cred as this masked luchador. You're going to have to be yourself, and that's tough. I mean, not many luchadors come back from that.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Oh no.
I won't demask you outside of this, but
Speaking of a good time.
we get our contractually obligated Halloween promo from Danhausen.
God, when is this man coming back?
I gotta assume it's at Full Gear or like at the pay-per-view, and he's gonna come out and hopefully, again, we keep talking about this. He needs to have like cursed the international title. That's why everyone else has been failing to hold it. He did it so Orange Cassidy could have it back.
I like Orange
Man.
Cassidy. I'm kind of sad he wasn't there.
Well, they're saving him for Dynamite.
They are saving him for Dynamite, but I was again, this is Collision, but Rampage did a horrible job with that press conference vignette. It was like 10 seconds and there was no sense.
Yep.
Speaking of things that didn't really make sense, so backstage we have the best part about this was Lexi just being like, "Ew, don't touch me."
Yep.
Was Lexi was backstage with Ryan Nemeth. If Minnie, if you don't know, Ryan Nemeth is the brother of Dolph Ziggler, so you know. Um,
Oh, that's why he looks so familiar.
Mhm. He's like
it's
Spirit Squad adjacent.
Yeah,
But,
I'm like, why is Nikki on my screen?
but that's what I thought. They're teasing this really well. Where he goes, "I got a big surprise," and it's like, "Is it Dolph? Is Nick Nemeth going to be there?" No. I'm going to go get a new manager for myself, and I feel like I should offer my services to CJ Perry because that's a smart idea when Miro is running around.
okay. We got first of all, let's talk about this. I love that the tagline is now just everywhere because Ryan
Hot and
goes to the
flexible.
door and it says CJ Perry, hot and flexible. I was like, we can't escape it, can we?
No one can escape the hot and flexible.
Well, apparently it did because the
We
door
can.
opens. I mean, as Ryan opens the door, it's not CJ Perry, but Miro standing there is just like coming through my office. And
Oh yeah,
Ryan,
she's back here.
Ryan, you are so dumb. As soon if that were me and I saw Miro, I'm like, no, I'm leaving. Goodbye. Like, nope, nope, no. Because
Nope.
then, as soon as Ryan got thrown into the room, the door was slowly closing, and we just heard Miro kick the crap out.
As deservedly so.
I mean, I didn't mind this one. I thought this was funny.
Lexi did a great job.
She's like, "Don't touch me." I love it so much.
And then two wrestlers in amazing cosplay as we have our contractually obligated Abaddon Halloween match on Collision.
Yep. So we have our AEW World Women's Championship match in a Friday night fight match stipulation.
Fright match.
I literally looked at the graphic. It was a Fright Night fight, is how they build it.
You said Friday night fight match. That's what I was trying to say.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. So Abaddon dressed up as Spawn because I was like, what is the reference here? I think it is. Let me double check. Oh, it's Spawn.
I like her hair. Her hair was dope.
Her new hair is amazing.
Abaddon is great. And of course, as we know, Abaddon, they won the Fatal 4-Way on Rampage by pitting the babysitter Anna Jay.
Yeah,
or as Alice called her on a Rampage review, Goth Barbie.
Ooh. Tell that to Jack Perry.
Listen, Jack Perry also is somebody who needs to do some penance.
Mhm.
But anyways, so Abaddon cosplaying as Spawn first comes down to the ring and is facing our AEW World Women's Champion Hikaru Shida, who comes out dressed as Ada Wong from the Resident Evil series, and I immediately started clapping for both of them because
Well done.
it was great. This was a fun match. I don't care what nobody says. This was fun.
The bone versus the styrofoam gravestone was hilarious, and I'm surprised that she did not get her hand smashed by the bone.
Yeah. Oh my god. And well, it was a rubber bone too, but still, it's not not soft.
There was one particular part where Abaddon hit Hikaru with the rubber femur, and I heard it crack against her back. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't think I'm supposed to hear that. Commentary did not help this match. That was the only thing I hated. It's like, have you been hit with the femur? I was like, what kind of question is that?
Even on top of that, oh my god! When they went to picture in picture, and I was on the Fight TV feed, they checked out completely of this match. Like they were giving it nothing, and I wanted to smack every single one of them and go, "What the hell is wrong with you? Sell for your women's champion, if nothing else. You all are professionals, supposedly, and I know this is a gimmick match. I know that you don't want to deal with this crap, but for God's sake, this could be someone's, i.e. mine, first time watching this product, and you make me not want to watch it. When my favorite wrestler is in the ring."
Guys, JBO really likes Abaddon, just so you guys don't know.
I wore their shirt on Thursday for the ROH review. I should have worn it tonight in solidarity for them because seriously, I'm so done with this crap.
They only bring in Abaddon around this time.
Accountability quarter!
I didn't write one. This is just me being angry.
Go off, sis.
Yeah, they were so
I so realize that Abaddon only comes out once a year for you, even though, as I wrote down here, she's got her ring psychology, got the ring psychology down for them. They are still working on the in-ring ability, and it's still amazing. You don't use them at all. You bring them in one night a year, and you want to make them a special attraction. How do you do that? You back up the product with what you're saying. You have your old as ass Tony Schiavone, your office rocker Nigel McGuinness, and whichever person, Kevin Kelly or JR, I couldn't remember which one it was, but the guy that rotates in because he doesn't want to be there on a part-time schedule, talk about nothing. You know who actually does really well with women's wrestling? Caprice and freaking Ian on ROH. Bring them in for every women's match.
Why
have them do every single one of them.
Like when Kevin Kelly was out and they substituted Ian Riccaboni in there, Ian was great. I was like, why can't switch him and Caprice ever so often every other week for Collision?
Well, they only brought it out for the ROH titles that were defended on an AEW product and not on ROH. That's a whole separate topic.
We'll talk about that when we get to it.
This, though, is no justice. I realize you're probably not going to book Abaddon as much as everybody wants to. They're chanting their name out there. They want them on the damn show. But no, you're not going to book it at all. If you're going to bring them in as an attraction, make it a big deal. And when they came back from that actual break, they started to ramp back up and then lost interest again. Yeah, it's a gimmick match. Yeah, they're selling out for turn. And you could tell both performers are like, no one's cheering. This is just, we're doing this on purpose. But they still were professionals and finished the match. I'm sick of this crap. The disrespect for the women's division. Now, and I thought that was going to be better on the other shows because Dynamite is just not existent. But no, this is utterly terrible for a match that wasn't bad. I enjoyed this match.
Oh, I enjoyed it too.
I'm taking, like, Nigel, you don't get a pass for this. You're an amazing commentator, but you sucked ass on this. And you let Tony Schiavone and his goddamn boot black hair and, trying to hide that he's 70 freaking years old. And Kevin Kelly, who can't pronounce names in English correct anymore because he's stuck in Japan all the time. You let them get to you. Stick you out, stick in the ROH ones for every women's match. It deserves to have it anyways if you want to promote anything. And the Caprice and Ian rap down to somebody else's theme song, talk about how Abaddon scares the crap out of him and makes Sheeta out to be the biggest badass you've ever seen. I'm sick and tired of this. I thought I had a break from this coming on this goddamn show, but no, Mikey, it was worse than Dynamite.
Well, you heard it here first, everyone. JBL will not be coming back for Collision, and we may have a falling out and have a cage match to decide who leaves.
I got no problem with either of you. It's all you goddamn AEW jackasses who can't respect your women's wrestling. And I know that the actual Luis would be on this with me in 10 seconds. I want his take on this.
He was supposed to be here, and it made me.
You guys can see my eyes are very wide, and I was like looking back and forth between the JVL and Mikey. I'm like, oh, but you can't see it. It looks like I'm just staring blankly into the camera.
I love that you sound like you're describing it for the blind. This is so good.
He's our subtitle. He's the visually.
I'm like visually impaired.
I'm sitting there like I have to I have to be like more anime. I'm like,
well, and Minnie, you're more animated than any of the commentators were for this.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, they sucked.
They sucked.
I almost muted it just so I could watch the match,
which I loved. And thank you. I mean, I'm sad Abaddon wasn't going to win, but she played some fun psychology, and it was a brutal match in certain ways. I enjoyed it.
Her under the ring shenanigans were hilarious.
I love that.
That was awesome.
Yeah, some of my favorite spots were that, and then of course the skeleton femur arm fight that they had.
I wish she would have landed the broom,
jumping
the flying
like a
broom.
witch with the broom.
I wish that would have landed.
Yeah,
give me a leg drop with that. That would have been awesome.
Did you hear the crowd's disappointment when it was a bucket full of candy and not thumbtacks?
I was just
Do you hear how excited they got when they brought out the pumpkin?
Yeah,
they were chanting for a pumpkin.
We want pumpkin.
Yeah. I was sad because I, as a viewer, enjoyed this match, but the commentary didn't help. And I'm also going to kind of yell at the crowd a little bit because I'm like, crowd, what happened? You started off great and then you just went dead. I was like, stop it. I was upset with this crowd.
They popped for when Abaddon bit the foam gravestone, like shattered it everywhere.
This crowd sucked tonight. I'm just going to put it out there.
It's Uncasville, Connecticut. Everyone there from Mohegan Sun is just a bunch of rich people going to a casino on the Navajo or on the reservation land. It's really terrible. I grew up in Connecticut. I can badmouth Uncasville for everything. The Tribe is great. The Mohegan Sun Casino, beautiful casino. The clientele are utter pieces of trash.
Yes.
I'm
Many
here for
final thoughts on this
I-
match?
I'm here for the candy suplex.
The candy suplex.
I loved it.
I would say it deserved better.
It did.
Oh, definitely.
But then Tony Storm appeared.
Okay, so let's talk about this real quick because I was just like, listen, Juice Robinson is a lucky man. I'm just putting it out there, right?
He is a lucky, lucky honeycomb monster.
I was one of those moments where my lack of knowledge from watching AEW was very confused why she came out, started kicking off her shoes, and just like sat on the table.
Because you always have to watch out for the shoe, Minnie. You always have to watch out for the. It went off to the side, like dude, it went in the crowd.
It was gone.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's the point.
She really kicked that shoe off. And then she laid on the announcer table, and I was like, "What the hell is going on? This is dope."
Okay, so so when she got onto the table, first of all, I like to appreciate the internet for making a meme out of Nigel McGuinness's face when that was happening. It's just like,
well, he was right. He was looking at Main Street, so I mean that's not surprising.
And then I was like, why is he making this face? It's not anything bad. But then I saw the other side because a fan caught the other side of the video, and now I understand why Nigel McGuinness made that face. Because as Toni Storm is laying on the table, she pulls out cuties from her butt cheeks in her shorts and starts handing them out. I was just like, what the heck is this?
Ate them the hard way again, like through the skin.
She's the one that like randomly will kiss like her opponent, right? Or am I wrong?
She's done that once. She's done
it once. To Saraya, right?
Yes.
Okay. She also bit Kiera Hogan's butt. That's a different.
Yeah, I remember that.
Kiera Hogan's butt.
She's the one that made the and we'll be right back really popular. She's like the first one that did it. Okay, so I know. Okay, so now everything in my brain is
hers was better though because hers was all about hers was stay tuned for some wonderful messages from these great sponsors.
And then of course the picture the first time she did it was amazing because then she's fighting Sky Blue and
show me them titties.
Yes, show me them titties. And it's like it's time for a titty slap. I was like, yep, you can only say this in picture.
Yep.
Thank you, Fight TV feed, for letting me see all of it. Listen, Toni Storm is
like her now. I'm now a fan of Toni Storm.
Go back and watch the last couple of Dynamites, and you'll be even more involved in it because she's making silent movies as part of her promos, and it's hysterical.
Is awesome.
She's
just crazy, and I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see her craziness in person because, as mentioned before, and I'm assuming Hikaru is keeping that title until Full Gear. So I'm excited for that match. I'm a little worried about where it's going to be placed on the Full Gear card and how much time we're going to give it because I will fight people at the Kia Forum if they don't support these women. I will fight people in the audience.
Please fight them for me at that point. They deserve to. But Mikey, I need you to report back. Does, like on TV in real life, when Toni Storm is anywhere around, does the air around her turn magically black and white? I just have to know if in like real life that happens or it's a camera trick. I'm not sure.
I will report it when I go to Full Gear in 3 weeks.
If it's not like magically, if it's not magically black and white, I will be very upset.
Me too.
Then I'll know that magic in the world isn't real. It'll be very sad.
I'll be
very magic that's not real. So
at a certain mouse company for making me believe in magic.
I mean, that's very, very fair. But speaking of a lack of magic, so we get this. This video package was okay with Dax and Ricky Starks like talking about their match that's literally later in the show. I'm like, how did we get here? I understand the FTR lost the titles, but is this what? Oh, sure, fine, whatever, I guess. Fine, sure.
This was a match that wasn't needed on the show.
No, because I was like, how do we go from everybody being involved with like Ricky and Big Bill being involved with like Christian and Mr. Copeland, and I was just like, so we're moving everybody to okay, no, never mind. All right, that's fine. I guess
we should have had a match between the people that brawled at the end. That's what we needed, not these two.
That's what I said. But anyways, this was an all right vignette. Minnie, porno mustache and the skinnier version of The Rock. What did you think?
Well, that's later in the night.
I'm not gonna lie. Everybody knows I'm not a really big fan of promos. I like to watch wrestling, so I kind of skipped a lot of the promo stuff. I was like, man, this shit's boring. I want to watch wrestling.
That is fair.
You didn't enjoy Rock Light and FTR Bald talking to each other?
Burt Reynolds, you mean?
Oh, I have to do it. It's FTR Bald and FTR Felony. Or sorry, I'm sorry, FTR Aggravated Assault. I should be specific. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
So that was said. All right. That was the funny part is that random awkward bit of silence. Like, who's gonna say something now? After who's gonna follow that one up?
You don't follow up aggravated assault anyway.
No, aggravated assault and a bowling ball. No, I kind of skipped
Shino Bolo. Understandable, because we moved on to a match that should have been an ROH TV is what we got next.
First of all, we can't skip past this too, because this other promo that we got between Keith Lee and Shane Taylor, I was like, why are we still doing this? I had forgotten. I was like, I feel like AEW forgot they were supposed to be building this feud for some odd reason.
I forgot Keith Lee was a person.
I think that's the reason they put it on there, because we all forgot.
My boy, I forgot Keith Lee is on AEW television because nobody wants.
I forgot.
They're not using him.
I thought he wrestled for NWA or something. I completely forgot he was there.
Honestly, I feel like he would be booked better there or MLW. I'm just putting it out there.
What got me is when Dijak is being booked more often than he is. It just shows you what happens when you leave the Triple H bubble, basically.
Poor Keith Lee. Well, I mean, unfortunately, Mia Yim's not faring any better, but at least she got more screen time in the last month or so than her husband. That's true.
But Shane Taylor tells us why he's going to fight Keith Lee. Because they used to be friends. Awesome. Good. That's the promo. We're done. Nothing else.
Why is this promo 4 minutes long? I think it was way too long.
I don't know.
Well, because nothing was said. That's the best part. Like, Keith Lee can talk. He wasn't allowed to. Shane Taylor just kept talking. He can talk okay. And you had Lee Moriarty just hanging around in the background like, yeah, Tiger Styles dead.
I'm upset that Tiger Styles is dead.
Yeah. That was... That's one of the things that I also just skipped. I was like, get to the next match, please.
I mean, this next match, though, we could have had it on ROH instead of Collision, because
we should have. It's an ROH TV title. Why is it being defended on Collision?
I don't know, but for the ROH World Television Championship, we had Samoa Joe squashing poor Rhett Titus, man. I was like, how do you do that? Fine, I guess. I was like, that's kind of rude.
I agree.
I was honestly hoping because he was in the...
I agree it should have been on Ring of Honor, but I'm here for anything to do with Samoa Joe because I love Samoa Joe. And he did his nope spot, and I love those spots. Mm-hmm. So I was excited. That was a good match. I like that one.
Mikey?
Yes.
Everything in me, the booker in me was like, okay, you're putting this on Collision. You've had people in the building. Why isn't Dalton Castle interfering in this match? Like, you're setting him up to go after him. He's there in his Dark Phoenix outfit, let him do it.
I'm going to tell you why he didn't. I'm going to tell you why he didn't interrupt in this match. And it's because of the same reason that I have the same problem right now with the undisputed WWE World Champion right now. Because everybody wants to break records. Everybody wants to be the longest, and I'm all here for it. But I'm like, come on.
Well, even if they're breaking the record for him, which is fine, break Jay Lethal's record. Jay Lethal's very problematic. But Dalton Castle can still get involved and have a schmoz.
That's what I said. I was like, even if Joe still won, at least have Dalton do some sort of distraction.
Have him come out after Joe, squashes him, and he comes out of nowhere during his little celebration, hits him in the back, yells at him for a little bit, and then leaves. They could have done that mid-easy. Oh, look at that. Oh, next feud.
Dalton Castle wouldn't hit him. He'd just talk at him.
Talk.
Ready-made feud.
But you know what? As the professor here on the Biconic says, if it makes sense, they won't do it.
Wrestling.
Professor.
So let's go from a quick squash match to a promo that happened on Rampage that we didn't need to
do we have to? Okay. See,
Lexi did amazing in this one.
She did. As you should, because anything involving QTV needs to burn in the fires of all hell. Because I hate this faction. I hate anytime they're on my television,
I'm going to
and I
turn my
keep
camera
saying
off
it.
because I have to clean my glasses. I don't need the Collision crowd seeing my face quite yet. They're not ready. Hold on.
Don't break the kayfabe. Don't break the kayfabe.
You can
Aaron
edit it out.
Solo looks dead in the eyes, and Johnny Mundo TV, whatever the hell he wants, is literally just spinning his wheels until he can get out of this contract because he and Ty are not being treated at all well here.
No, and like it makes me sad because I'm like, this is Johnny TV. This is Johnny insert last name here. Cause like the man can go. Why are what I listen, and Taya, I love you, girl. And you know what? At that time, the future did look bright for you. But I'm gonna say it. I think you should come back from the undead realm and be back with the Death Dolls because at least you were being treated properly as part of that faction. You were a tag team champion, Taya. And this is what we have been she has not been on my television screen. I was just like, girl, it makes me sad. The only real
100%.
thing, the only real thing we got is that we're gonna be getting some luchador matches. I guess against QT Marshall for that Latin American champion, AAA Latin American Championship. Sure, fine, it's great. I hope
Wonderful.
Commander beats the crap out of him because that'd be hilarious.
Metally kicks the crap out of him. Gravity beats him. That'd be wonderful. Hey, Mikey, you know what I love in a wrestling show? More
What?
promos.
I'm kind of tired of seeing Claudio on my screen, and if he kind of goes away for a little bit, like I'm not gonna complain.
Yeah, ROH has gotten better since he left.
See, I haven't forgave him for the lack of a champion that we had in him for Ring of Honor, so he has yet to earn my good graces back for this. But I will admit
so you guys
that
are
this
tired
promo
of
is
seeing
probably
Claudio Stromboli? I know it's not his name, but
no. Oh, the wrestling gods are gonna kill.
he had a match that was about
Claudio
40...
Cannoli. Come
Oh,
on,
I
it's
know.
Claudio Cannoli.
Claudio Cannoli
he
is
had
the word.
he had a match that was shorter than his name. What do you mean? He came out here, he threw 15 European uppercuts, took off his elbow pad, hit one more, pin 1, 2, 3. Then he looked at the camera and was like, I'm coming for you, and Cassidy. I'm Swedish, and then left.
Except he's Swiss.
And that match
You know
happened
what?
way
Close
like,
enough.
down the line.
I got everything else wrong.
I mean, essentially, this promo just lets us know that our good old Danielson has a broken orbital bone. I was just like, damn,
I'm gonna hurt you both because you hurt my friend.
But the thing is, doing a promo like this and having commentary talk about it, I understand why we were all confused whether this was an actual legitimate injury or not, because they're playing it up like it's not.
He started calling him Brittle Brian. I was very confused. I was like, is he actually hurt, or like what the hell is going on here?
That's Nigel McGuinness.
Nigel McGuinness is being Nigel McGuinness, and most of the time I like him. But this episode, I was like, Nigel, we got to have a chat afterwards.
He re-dyed his hair, so obviously he was getting little fumes in his head.
I mean, it would explain a lot of things he said, and maybe it affected the other commentators because I felt like they were all tripping acid this whole episode. I was like,
oh my god, we'll get to JR in the main event.
Oh my god,
is JR getting dementia? What's going on with him?
He's not getting dementia.
He has. Allegedly.
No, like JR in general, like if you haven't seen the last like 4 pay-per-views and most of the stuff he's done, every time he comes on, we're like, oh, JR got out of his chair, he's walked out of the nursing home, someone bring him back. He has no idea where he is.
Dude, I used to love JR back in the day, but damn.
Yeah.
He needs to take his barbecue sauce and go back home.
I don't think he remembers he has a barbecue sauce, but we're not going to talk about that right now because we do have to talk about Rock Light versus FTR Bald, which was really just the House of Black Stands and Menaces versus LFI.
Did you guys
or LIF
catch when they cut to the cameras to House of Black and they were all laughing? And they had to quickly cut away? That was hilarious.
Well, Brody kept looking down to the monitor that he was looking at and like, are we on? We're on. Are we on? We're on. Buddy's trying to keep a straight face. It was great. That was the most entertaining part of this match. It was a pretty standard match between the two of them, and they're good workers. Like, they can work, but
it could
I
have been
didn't care.
better.
I didn't care. There was nothing to care about. I was watching FTR aggravated assault do nothing on the outside, and I was watching Big Bill interfere multiple times while Stephon Smith saw everything he did and didn't throw him out.
Stephon, we gotta have a talk, man. Like, I don't know what's going on with you, but bro.
Hey guys, welcome to
I mean,
and Ricky also stealing the Tony Storm bit, and we'll be right back.
I was like, no, this is only Tony Storm. How
what
dare
makes
you?
it really funny for me is the fact there was actually no like even cue when I was watching it. There was no fade to black for commercials or anything like that. It's like, we'll cut to and we'll be back after this break and just continue the wrestling match. I was like, huh?
You watch the Fight TV feed.
You gotta love the Fight TV feed, but
right.
I agree with you, JVL. I love Ricky. I really do, but since exiting the feud with Danielson, I would hope that winning the tag titles would do something. No, not really. I mean, it is.
There's so many belts for this place.
Well, because half of them are ROHs and they keep them on AEW TV.
Yeah.
The only belts being defended on ROH is the women's title, which is amazing. But where the hell are the rest of their belts? Not on ROH.
We don't have Eddie King. Well, see, I'm giving Eddie a little bit of grace because, he's also New Japan's.
He's a double
champion.
Got
it. He's a double champion. So, I give him grace. But no pure title because I'm like, where's Katsuyori Shibata? The tag titles are being held hostage by MJF right now.
The trios titles are being held by the Hung Bucks. And the TV title is on Samoa Joe. And none of them wrestle on ROH.
Yeah, but it was what it was. But like JVL, you said, Ricky picks up the victory here after some sort of interference from Big Bill. Again, I feel
which was no the thing. So the commentary said, he didn't see it. He didn't see it when Bill pulled Dax Harwood out. I'm like, how do you miss a 7-foot man pulling another man off of the pin you're counting? He didn't miss it. He let it happen. Be upfront with this commentary. You can't undersell that. It's freaking Big Bill. What the hell is up with I thought Collision was the A show.
It's supposed to be, but I feel like this week, because I don't know if Danielson truly is injured and he's being checked out. I feel like somebody got their hands on the notepad and decided to write.
This was the ass show for this little bit here. It started with ass because the ass boys were out, and it went from there.
You kind of reminded me for the first, at least a little bit. I was like, is Eric Bischoff producing this? What the hell is going on?
I think it's actually
there was some good moments for sure, and I definitely did enjoy it overall. But I'm like, I know he's been putting his head back into places. Y'all really giving this man a shot?
Well, I mean, the ending of this match was kind of like an old WCW thing where two factions coming out of nowhere to come after each other with nobody in the match.
Nothing.
It was that, or it was either between Eric Bischoff or Jim Cornette were somewhere involved in this.
There wasn't enough racism in it for me to make it Jim Cornette. It was definitely Eric Bischoff.
No!
You're not wrong.
That's why I'm like, he's not wrong, but
But yes, Los Facciones Ingobernables came out to ostensibly beat up FTR because the House of Black was going to beat up FTR, and then House of Black and
LFI. I was like, what is this?
Rush's babyface, and then we cut to Lexi talking to Andrade about whether what's going on with LFI being there.
This is my business.
And Andrade cuts an unintelligible promo because again he doesn't speak English very well.
Let him speak Spanish.
Yeah, so let him speak Spanish and subtitle him or have somebody there with him because he's talking about business. He's a businessman, and this is his business.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I had no idea what the hell happened at the end of the match.
We don't either.
I'm like, who the hell are these dudes? Why is House of Black here? I thought they were like a trios thing. Big Bill and Ricky Starks just left. Huh?
Yeah, of course they did. They didn't want to get beat up. You could tell how the crowd wasn't into this match when they were making the gorilla grunting sounds at Brody. That's what they were doing. We got the promo with Andrade. We moved on from there. Then we got another promo, which I believe was early in the night, where Chris Statlander is asking what's going on with her best friends, Willow and Sky Blue.
First off, I want to say that Willow, I love her outfit because it's giving me if we were to have a modern day Sabrina the Teenage Witch, but make it diverse. I loved her outfit. I was
So
like,
good.
she's so witchy. I love it. Or like what?
I skipped
It
it.
was so good.
And Sky Blues would like dressed like Julia Hart Light.
She
But the
fell
problem
into
with
Hot Topic and called it a day.
Hot Topic vomited Sky Blue back up. Now she's Midnight Blue. But the problem is that I was confused because Willow did reference the fact they both had been sprayed with a mist, but wasn't Willow also turning? Like I thought they both were turning at this
Okay,
point.
so
too.
let me spill some tea real quick.
Wait, can you go revert that back? They got sprayed with the mist and they're turning.
Oh yeah, Sky Blue. Why do you think Sky Blue is
What
doing
late
Asuka eye?
'90s WWE Undertaker bullshit is this?
Better than the 90s WWE thing because they're actually using women in this and they're turning into an evil women's faction. I'm excited for what they've been doing here, turning the baby
As long
faces
as they
evil.
don't crucify or hang people.
No, they don't have to. They got sprayed with the black mist and they've been slowly turning heel over the last few weeks in what they've been doing.
Well,
And
one of
Sky Blue
them has.
Willow has too. Willow's been over the top and the one eye is doing it, but Sky Blue is like bleeding black out of her eyes now. It's
She
great.
is literally crying black tears. It is insane. But okay, but back to it. I was just like, Willow's kind of towing that line, and you know, without explicitly saying the correct words, me, Adolfo, and Alice and Rampage, we deduced that the power of positivity is what's keeping the total turn at bay for Willow, which I'm like, that's toxic positivity. We don't
That's
like that.
extremely toxic positivity.
So I'm hoping that it turns Willow. I just want Willow to still I just want her to be more aggressive. Like if it's the aspect where she becomes more aggressive like she has been, I'm here for it because it's kind of hard to hate Willow as a character.
And here's my Booker hat on this. You don't change anything about her. She's got darker costume. She doesn't change her entrance. She's still smiling and waving, but it's a little off like Tony Storm. And she's beating people up in horrible ways and doing horrible things in the ring and cheating. And then she's not the villain. She's still Willow Nightingale. She's just darker.
Oh, like rest in peace. Kind of like demon fiend, not fiend Bray Wyatt. But Happy Funhouse Bray Wyatt.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers Bray Wyatt.
Mr.
Yeah.
Rogers. Willow has that would be great, but so I want to go
Willow
into this
Nightmare.
Willow Nightmare. I would love it. I mean, somebody has to put on the Nightmare Before Christmas outfit since Athena took Billy's away.
I know. I'm so sad about that too. But
Here, okay.
yeah.
I want to go to the other side because I didn't mind this promo, but then I'm like, Chris, we're kind of being a douche right now because she's
Chris
just
has been a
like,
douche her entire run so far.
beforehand, I was like, okay, like the people she would go up against, I was like, okay, kind of being a tool to some of the women, like I totally get it because most of her opponents have been heel. Now, after this promo started, Chris is like, I wanted to take this time because I want to know what the wank is going on with you two. And it was just like, you guys have like have some issues to work out. So what's the deal? You're kind of killing the vibe, is what she basically said. I was like, damn, Chris. I was like, what kind of friend are you? Like, you started off great, and then it was like, what?
The worst type of ding 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 friend. So, she's just not she's looking for a reason to be part of this storyline at this point because she's the champion and nothing else going on.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Sky Blue is setting up this. Yeah.
And that's my problem. And I talked about this on Rampage because Willow and Sky Blue were involved in that fatal 4-way match on Rampage to face Hikaru Shida. Why was that fatal 4-way not for Chris's title? Like, it should have been for TBS, not Hikaru Shida's, because they're barely doing anything with Hikaru now since she's your 3-time champion, which they love to remind me. And it's such a disservice to Hikaru Shida, which makes me very upset.
And a disservice to Abaddon because she didn't, I mean, she could have had a better match in so many other ways and was never going to win the title. Put her in a match she can win.
I don't know, man, but I feel like that Fatal 4-Way should have been Chris's title since you want to make TBS Championship your main women's title on Collision like it has been the last couple of weeks, but now all of a sudden we're getting crossover, so it's like, again, somebody got their hands on a notepad and decided to write the show because there's
Eric
a lot
Bischoff.
of questions. I mean, yeah, but essentially this Sky Blue is like whatever's happening between me and Julia is between me and her, and then she just ups and leaves, and that's how we end this little segment. Fine.
So Minnie, I'm going to set this up here. We're done with promos for 30 seconds. Are you ready for a 30-second match?
Absolutely.
awesome. Claudio's going to do 3 moves and then pull off his elbow pad, and then he's going to be really, really non-charismatic.
Revert back to my last statement. The match was shorter than his name.
Yep. Very much so.
I was upset. I was like, how dare they do this to Hot
Poor Hot Sauce.
Poor Hot Sauce.
I
Dude, they couldn't even get his name out before he got clocked with the European uppercut. They're like, and he's facing. Oh, he's already on the ground. Okay, this is going to be one of those matches.
I wrote in my notes. Well, no, I wrote down. Why wasn't this on ROH? This is the type of match that ends up happening on ROH, and it makes sense on ROH. Why did this have to happen here? We could have taken this out. We could have taken FTR Bald versus Rock 2.0 out and done another women's match, done a Chris Statlander match, anything. You had all the other titles being defended tonight. Have Chris defend the damn title.
There was only one women's match this whole thing.
Yeah, that's AEW's prerogative.
AEW standard.
And I was upset about that. Like, because like WWE has gotten slowly getting better with it now that we'll talk about this on the SmackDown Friday night SmackDown review with somebody being gone now. But yeah, I'm upset. I'm kind of upset because it looks like there's a lot.
If you want women's wrestling,
there's a lot of talent.
There is. Minnie, if you want women's wrestling, you watch ROH or you watch Impact. That's who you watch.
I will also throw NXT into the ring too because
you watch ROH or you watch Impact.
You gotta remember who's here. We were the big two that was like always hating on NXT back in the day. I mean, granted, now that I've watched more NXT, I'm also like, okay, never mind. This is actually pretty good. But
this isn't a hate on NXT for me. I'm literally lumping NXT as the top show in WWE, so it's under that WWE umbrella, which brings its average down on women's wrestling. That's why it is. Yes, they have great women's matches, but if you want women's wrestling, you watch ROH or you watch Impact.
That's fair.
Now, I know this is cool. I'm going to say the stock has been on the rise for WWE recently.
That's because Vince McMahon finally got told to get out of the damn company.
I mean,
yeah, because he got told you're bringing the stocks down. Piss off, because we're your boss now. Vince had a Vince in a Wild appearance. Do you guys see that? He was at the Tyson Fury Francis Ngannou boxing match. He was next to Mike Tyson, who was next to Eminem. They're all in one row. And Eminem took a picture for his. He took a picture. He was like, just watching boxing with my friends. It was Mike Tyson and Vince McMahon. If Vince looks like trash.
Oh, Eminem. We know you troll, but
you can tell. You all can tell out there we're talking about this stuff instead of the Claudio match because that's how boring that was. And then we cut to another promo package.
Claudio hit like 20 European uppercuts, and that was the match. That's all you guys need to know.
It really was. It really was. And then we got Samoa Joe saying that he'll be MJF's friend. Just call my name, and I'll consider it.
He was basically like, just yell out daddy, and I'll be there.
Which I would have enjoyed. But I enjoyed this. This is a little like spoiler later. I have to ask because they showed all of MJF's like the other people in the MJF verse that are all going to be facing him in a little while. Was Samoa Joe crying or was that sweat?
I was like, I feel like it was sweat, bro. But
I think it was sweat.
I had to pause too. I'm like, Joe, like who hurt you? Like what happened?
He was so happy that MJF won that he's crying. It's like, oh my god, I would love it if he was crying. I honestly,
no, Joe, your sweet tooth is showing. like your sweet tooth from I was just like his show. Oh my goodness.
He was.
Yeah, exactly.
He was sweaty, man.
I mean, and we'll talk more about it because I was just like, it's the Maxwell Jacob Friedman cinematic universe with all the people that are involved. I was like, what is happening? But
when you sell tickets like he does,
yeah.
See, we need to get at some point. We need to get Luis here because of the fact that I was just like, spoiler alert, he's not a big fan of MJF, and I'm kind of here for it.
And can MJF get a new finisher?
The Heat Seeker?
That thing looks kind of lame, not gonna lie. I didn't even know I had to look up what his finisher was, because I didn't know.
Well, he has a submission finisher as well.
Salt of the Earth, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, but he does that old style overselling stuff, which happens. But Mikey, I would love to get Alice and Luis on just to review this match because they both hate the other person more than then what's going on?
Right now,
Wait,
I'm trying to keep.
There's a Kenny Omega fan.
No,
Hater?
Well,
No.
I was gonna say Alice and Minnie cannot be in the same room together because
Those are some fight words.
exactly.
Oh, yeah. But I will say this: I was surprised this week with the two of them. There was some more inventive offense. It wasn't just Kenny Omega's 7 moves that he does in every match, and they seemed to actually being wanting to do things together. It was very fun to kind of have that put across, and this was my match of the night. It was well done. I was surprised.
Well, because it was the only match that had, some time to it that wasn't just, hey, look, 30 European uppercuts.
Pretty much. There were only a couple of European uppercuts in this one, and a lot more of the psychology and MJF taunting and all that stuff.
Storytelling, and I love his eye pokes. His eye pokes are hilarious. I like how he's like, I can get away with this stuff, and I'm also a face.
It is. I also love the crowd chanting, both these guys! Both these guys!
I mean, I agree with you, JPL. This was my match of the night.
There was a table. Best match ever.
That was a hell of a bump on the table. Like I'm surprised MJF isn't dead.
Yeah, I thought he'd need himself in the face.
He got close, and then Kenny came down on his knee as well, really badly. It was brutal. But I think that was that sort of a receipt for the backbreaker power bomb that Kenny ended up on his head.
I was gonna say because the first 5 minutes of this match, I worried for Kenny's safety because I'm like, MJF, I need you to calm down, bro. You just need to breathe because you're hitting the moves, but they're kind of being executed very dangerously. I thought Kenny broke his head or something when he came down on Max's knee. I'm like, oh, that did not go where it needed to. I was like, Kenny bounced off that knee. I'm like, oh no. I was like, this is all out all over again. No. But
meanwhile, they cut to the crowd and they've got the water boy reference with MJF as the devil.
I was like, I'm going to hell for laughing at that.
It's so good. So good.
But yeah, this was my match of the night. Because I was watching it on Fight TV, they legit had a 90-second timer. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, I saw that.
I was so confused by that. I was like, what? Why is that there? Why does it look like I saw the timer and Kenny wasn't hurrying up, and I was like, is there a reason for this?
Oh, yeah, because they had to get to the Wild Don Callis appearance for no freaking reason.
Okay, let's talk about that.
I was so confused by that. He came out the screwdriver, and they got told to piss off.
He added nothing. Nothing. I was just again, this is what, the third time Don has ran out like this and still hasn't added to anything? And when it comes to Kenny losing, because the match then went on for 5-6 more minutes after Don.
It didn't affect. He didn't leave the screwdriver. Why was he there?
Oh my gosh.
What was the point?
I don't know. I don't know who is writing this.
I don't even know who Don Callis really is. I know he had some sort of history, Kenny Omega. That's how confused I was. I was like, why the fuck is this bald? Why does it look like Claudio in 30 years coming out here?
Ooh.
That's what he looks like.
Ooh.
Bald dude.
Ooh. Okay, so let's break this down for Minnie. So
I think I'm wearing the mask so I don't get killed later by him, because Claudio's probably going to throw me through a wall.
I'll be right next to you as Anthony Henry breaks me apart.
Oof.
I'm not sure who's going to get me first, Claudio or Omos.
Claudio's faster. But
for Minnie, for you, Don Callis was a wrestler at one point. In fact, he probably has the most history with Chris Jericho out of everybody in AEW right now. And there was a whole thing where they had this kind of feud storyline, but it was messy.
Oh, it's still going.
Yeah, it's still going, but we had to substitute a bunch of people because Sammy Guevara is out.
He's hurt?
He concussed himself on doing a cutter the wrong way because, again, Sammy Guevara can't go any speed but 110.
So that was bad.
That sounds like Darby Allin.
Yeah.
Darby has a broken arm at this point.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's broken?
Out of the 4 pillars, MJF is the only one who's wrestling right now.
And has stayed out of trouble.
He's the only one that's wrestling right now.
And is very, very...
What happened to Jack Perry? What's going on with...
He got CM Punk fired.
He got CM Punk fired and he got suspended for that backstage fight in London with CM Punk.
Oh, he's still suspended for that?
Oh yeah, he's not. He hasn't been on TV since then.
Well, I know, like, getting CM Punk fired. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. Everybody was talking about how he's toxic as hell back there, but
Oh, he is. But Jack Perry's also a bit toxic too. He's getting in his own head about stuff. Either way, the whole thing with Don Callis is was Kenny Omega's manager for a while. Like he helped him in Impact and in New Japan.
Okay,
he's always been around for him.
That was during the belt collector phase that Kenny Omega was going through like 2-3 years ago.
And when Kenny broke from him in AEW and became a face again, Don didn't take it well. And so now he's been putting a bunch of like assassins together to take Kenny out, which he hasn't been doing correctly because Kenny keeps winning, except here. So they have to keep furthering that this storyline is happening because they haven't figured out actually how to do it correctly. So Don Callis just appears, does nothing to throw Kenny off, and then Kenny wrestles for another 10 minutes and then loses in the correct way. It makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
Also, Don Callis comes out to a theme song that's the Brown Note. That's all we have there.
Oh, and the other thing too is if you pay attention to some of the entrances of the people involved with Don Callis, you will like Konosuke Takeshita changed it up. I was like, but beforehand, let me tell you, the homoeroticism mini was real in a lot of these paintings. Like,
so he's like a Wish.com version of Paul Heyman.
More like Paul Ellering.
Yeah. Ooh. I mean, that is a very fair comparison. But yeah, the Titantron entrances for Konosuke before what he currently has with this alpha gimmick that Konosuke is doing. I hate it, by the way, because it's so toxic as hell. But
it's Don Callis.
But beforehand, the entrance is that there was this really weird Renaissance painting type of thing where a shirtless Don Callis was riding a centaur version of Konosuke Takeshita. It was so homoerotic.
Also shirtless.
Yeah. Who was also shirtless.
Either way, so many that's catching up. That's why Don Callis appeared, because they're trying to keep this Kenny Omega thing with him happening, but it didn't affect the match at all. So that's why we're like, why was this done?
I need to go back. Mikey, what did you say?
Oh, well, now it's a whole, the painting is expanded because Konosuke Takeshita and Powerhouse Hobbs and Sammy Guevara and Kyle Fletcher are all on this painting, shirtless like the Last Supper.
How is he out Vince McMahoning Vince McMahon? You can't tell me that is a Vince McMahon thing, that he would do something. He would have done something like that.
And that's who he's channeling. Like, Don does Vince McMahon better than Vince McMahon does. For all I will say for his performance, he gets heat like nobody else's business, and he's an amazing manager in that respect. He's just being used in very strange ways when it's not directly tied to the storyline and his actual
Eric Bischoff might be involved.
Well, who knows at this point, but
it's definitely not Jim Cornette, because there's an Asian guy and a black guy in the thing, so who knows?
Yep, it's not. Yep.
And on that lovely note, MJF does pick up the victory. He is still your AEW World Champion, though he is missing the belt. And then, as JBL you brought up, we literally see the Maxwell Jacob Freeman cinematic universe of people watching this thing. We start off with Samoa Joe, then we go
crying.
Who was crying. Then we go to a more jacked up version of Wardlow. I was just like,
is he normally that big?
No. He's slimmed down and added more muscle to his top half, is what we've noticed. Like he's not as
very
thick
top
anymore.
heavy now.
He's very top heavy now.
I'm not gonna lie. I had a
was
pause.
The last person
like,
was the last person Powerhouse Hobbs? Because I didn't hear a name.
No, so after Wardlow is Powerhouse Hobbs, and then it shoots on over to the Bullet Club Gold. I was like, Juice Robinson, who hurt your eye? Like, what happened? Like, why is it banded? Why do you look like you belong in The Walking Dead? What is happening?
Because he got punched by the Diamond Ring.
Oh, that's right. Listen, because that match happened at the beginning of Dynamite, like it kind of exited my memory, because what stuck me with Dynamite was the B&E that we got from Swerve and Prince Nana. I was just like, we'll talk about that, Minnie, because that was a whole thing on Wednesday.
But we don't have to do it on the podcast, so we'll tell you afterwards. This was too much. Or go back and watch the AEW review. I personally enjoyed it.
But that does bring us to the end of this really weird AEW Collision.
Can I
overall,
say
I thought I enjoyed it, but yeah, it was interesting. It was weird.
Two things of this match before we get off of it, though. One, my move of the night was in here when Kenny Omega pulled out a Jerry Lawler pulling pile driver. Like, oh yes, I have not seen a pulling pile driver in forever, and I was very happy to see it. But on the other side of it, MJF pulled off the hammerlock DDT. Is like, oh, well, Andrade's finisher is now a setup move for something? That's hysterical.
I don't know. And then, of course, MJF doing the Panama Sunrise.
Which commentary said the Florida Sunrise because
No!
JR doesn't know where he is and Nigel doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
You ruined it. I was so upset.
The matches, majority of them got a pretty good rating. The commentary,
the backstage stuff,
the matches, not too bad.
All right.
Yeah.
Honestly, the main event was my
overall
match of
the
night,
show,
but I'm throwing in the women's match as my second.
Huh?
All right,
so let's get to our ratings.
So you know what? We really haven't established what we're using for.
Collision, is there no? You guys don't have a rating system for this?
Not well. We'll talk off.
How many fender bender? How many out of 10 fender benders was this?
How many fender benders?
How many fender benders for Collision?
So the 10 fender benders means it was amazing. 1 fender bender was complete train wreck.
How much whiplash should I get from this?
6.
Oh,
I'm gonna go with 6 as well. I didn't think it was horrible, but I was just like, it was
above average.
Yes.
If what average is, I will say it would be a 6 if we had women's matches and women's things that made sense. But no, I'm pulling 1 fender bender back. I'm a better driver. It was a 5.
We're not here to be good drivers. What do you mean? We're the fender bender crew.
We are terrible drivers, but I stick to my guns with every AEW thing I review. If you cannot book more than 1 women's match and you cannot book more than 1 women's promo and book them well, you don't deserve one of my rating stars. Automatically, you lose a star.
The more you know. Anyways.
Book Abaddon better.
Book Hikaru Shida better.
Book Abaddon better.
Book the women's division better.
Yes.
100%. There we go. There it is.
Agreed.
That's a great note to leave it on.
Yes, that is a great note to leave it on. But that brings us to the end of our AEW Collision review with the Fender Bender crew.
Should I exchange insurance with you guys for this because we both bashed into each other so many times?
Hold on, I got this. I'm gonna send it in the chat right now.
Okay, good. All right. I only have nationwide, so I don't know if you'll take that.
Nationwide.
There you go. There you go.
Oh yeah, that's a great policy, Minnie. I like that one.
But if you oh my gosh, if you want to see more of the Fender Bender crew as well as us individually just making a mess all over the other reviews, you can check out all those here at the Biconics YouTube channel. You can follow us all over the social medias at BC WrestlePod, where you get notifications. Get notifications when we go live, as well as see clips about all this. See, this is the Fender Bender crew because it's turning into a hot car wreck.
Nationwide is on your side.
And of course, if you thought this was unhinged, you should check us out at the actual Biconics Wrestling Podcast, where we're a little more unhinged, surprisingly. And you might ask yourselves, how is it more unhinged than this? Oh, trust us. You should go listen.
Me and JVL in the room is bad. You add the professor to the mix. We don't get a lot of things done.
I need Minnie on the AEW Dynamite review at some point with the professor being stuck in the box. Come on.
It is. We'll explain that too, because it's been one of my favorite. Yes, it is a running gag, and I love it. But that is going to bring us to an end of AEW Collision review. I'm trying to be a professional, but you know what? It is okay. But
fuck it.
Remember, yeah. Oh. Anyways, before we get demonetized any further, remember, from all of us here at the Biconics to you that are watching, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, stay Biconic, you beautiful bastards. Until the next review, ta-ta for now.